So I was late to work and I got out of bed. So I was like, crap, dude, I gotta hurry up. And so I got out of the bed, took a shower hella quick, and then got on the road. Well, when I got on the road, some intuitively, I was going to my internship at Caltrans. I was like 25. I got on the road and hit Mission Gorge to the 8 going west to Caltrans up in Old Town. And something intuitively was like, wait, that went a little quicker than it usually does. And I just happened to look around and I was like, this is freaking weird, dude. Like, where are the cars at? There weren't a lot of cars on the road. And at the same time too, I had the radio playing on Rock 105.3, but there was talk radio on, and then it kind of hit me like, wait, okay, so I'm hitting the 8 interchange at the 805, and I'm just keeping on, and I'm a speeder too, so I was like, wait, why is it talk radio? So I flipped over the 91X, hit 91X, and it was talk radio again. And I just thought, that's freaking weird, dude. And then I hit Z90, okay? So then I noticed that the tone was the same tone. There's the same voice on the same talk radio. And I knew kind of instinctively, like, okay, something's wrong, because if it's talk radio at this time and it's all the same channel, because I flipped back to 105.3, 91X, and back to Z90, it was all the same information, okay? And that's when I listened, and I just sat and listened. When I got to work in Old Town, I just sat in the car and I listened. And that's when I discovered what had happened in New York. And I get up to my desk and I call my mom, and she actually was late to work the same day as well too. And I asked her if she had turned the TV on yet. She said no, because she was late. And I said, Mom, you should probably take a seat and turn the TV on and turn the news on. And I'll tell you, like, remembering that day today, and like the sun coming up on this side, you just remember certain things. And I remember when I was able to sit, we basically took the day, everybody got the day off at work. I think we got the whole week off, I think. Went back home, me and my roommate were just watching TV, watching the news, and then seeing the video clip of the planes hitting. And then, but what jacked me though, I mean, it was terrifying watching that and seeing what happened with the Pentagon and then that Flight 93. But what jacked me though was the video of the thuds at the World Trade Center, and realizing that those thuds weren't just like objects falling from the buildings. Those were actually people falling from the buildings, and they had jumped off because of the heat of those planes that were igniting in the top of the towers and stuff. And that was what the reason why I'm even doing this video is because we always say never forget, but I want to tell you something, okay? We are forgetting, and we've forgotten. We've forgotten a lot. In fact, we forgot what it actually means to be a patriot, even just a nationalist. People want to try to redefine terms, and when you have folks who want to revise history, you have to understand what that actually means. They're trying to revise things to fit a certain narrative. And when you revise nationalism to mean something about white supremacy, when you revise patriotism and the American flag to mean something about white supremacy and white suppression, that kind of stuff, that's where you forget. You forget the guys that in Flight 93 that said, let's roll. You forget George Bush on the baseball mound, the New York Yankees game, throwing that first pitch. Even Dallas Cowboys with Darren Woodson coming out the tunnel. I think it was Darren Woodson coming out of the Dallas Cowboys tunnel with the American flag. You forget what that feeling was like when you realize that somebody says, let's roll, but also you forget that there were firefighters and firemen running into that place. Those were real freaking heroes. And that's why, my friends who are in the forces either way, police, fire, who are in the government, who have served in the military, Coast Guard, whatever, it's like, these are heroes. These are people who put their lives on the line for this nation. Not one of these people is perfect. Neither are you, okay? Neither are freaking you. But these people are freaking American, and that's what I remember. That's the second biggest thing that I remember, okay? The biggest thing that I actually remember was the Sunday after 9/11. I was not a Christian. I was a practical atheist, but my ass was in church. I went to the Catholic mission right down in Mission Valley, the oldest mission, I think, over here in San Diego County, and that place was freaking packed. it was packed to the gills because people were freaked the F out. They've realized that somebody with the really bad intentions could reach out and touch them and hurt them. And the desire in people's heart was to find something concrete that wasn't going to be swayed by ethnicity or politics or the economy or nothing like that. It was all about the spirit and the soul, because folks needed answers. They didn't know what the heck was going on, and they were seeking out and reaching out for God. I remember that specific because my butt was there, and I was not a believer. My butt was freaking right in church, and I was like, I need to know what's going on. I needed some kind of comfort, and that's what, you find right now. Folks have been so swayed against the faith of Christ, of Christianity, because it's been a purposed intent, the purpose objective of secularists to really try to redefine what Christianity is, which is like white evangelicalism. When I see a bunch of people who are the virtue signalers who try to do the same thing to and for against Christians, is that they try to redefine Christianity based off of their own racial grievance, ethnic grievance, whatever you want to call it. That's not the gospel of, what do you call it? I guess the gospel of grievance, okay? The gospel of grievance has no salvation. There's nothing in that actually equates to folks being right with God. But what it does is it brings out the worst in people. So where you have rapists, you have drug dealers, you have folks who commit crimes become the hero, but the folks who actually risk their life every day to be ridiculed, to be called all types of things, those are the folks who are lifted up as, as the villains. We have to redefine, and we have to get back to what it actually means to be an American and to be solid on that. Because those folks in those towers, they went up there to try to save people, and it didn't matter what they looked like. I mean, all types of Americans died. Now, if you want to put black or white or Native American, even freaking Arabic American, you put Italian American, you put women, men, these guys went into those dang towers with the express purpose of saving freaking Americans. Saving Americans. Now those other guys that ran into that ran into the towers and the Pentagon and ran the plane into the actually the guys in '93, they saved themselves in that one. But those folks that did that to the towers, they can rest in freaking hell. I really don't care. They can rest in hell and burn in hell. But just be real about this. To be described as loving your nation is not something that's hateful. To be described as a person who loves your nation, despite all of the things that have gone wrong here, that's not a bad thing. You get to know history and get to learn history, but you don't ever forget what it actually means to be a person. Because just like a nation, a person goes through their ups and they go through their downs. But to stand as if you have the ability to look at an entire nation's history from your own selfish, egotistical perspective, as if you have the rights to say that and then express it upon every person, especially black people, as if every black person is supposed to think the same thing as your grievance, like super ill-informed. I don't even get into it, Cal. I'm gonna start getting fired up right now. But to do that and express that as a means for all black people to think the same way is just ridiculous. But then you call terror what it actually is. Those guys that did that to this nation were terrorists back in 2001. And the folks who are destroying cities, who potentially might be doing something with these dang fires. And now there's some reports coming out right now, and then are going into people's restaurants and jacking up people's meals and stuff like that because they've got this racial grievance. These are freaking terrorists, and they're not peaceful. And peace is being redefined because what they're doing is war. And you didn't know that. And I remember today is 9/11, that there's going to be people out there who understand that to be a patriot means that you stand firm. It means you speak out and you say what needs to be said. And don't care what people have to say against you. You just let them go by the wayside. Let their grievance be their grievance, because the hate comes out of them in a heartbeat. More people are looking for something solid, which is in the Lord. And more people are looking for something in togetherness, in community, which is in the American dream. All of us are seeking that. If you are truly seeking out the betterment of this nation, you're seeking out the American dream, and you're realizing that those folks who have a grievance, who are yelling and screaming on the TV, they're not like you. They have something else going on. But the folks on the couch are the ones who actually have something that's together, that makes us a community, because we're standing firm on what is the red, white, and blue. And we're desiring that for every single person, no matter what you look like, because the lives that we live as Americans, they matter. That's what matters. And I hope you understand that on this 9/11 day. I will never forget. I'll never forget. But I'll have to remember the pictures that I post on this one. These are things that help you remember too, because I will always remember what happened that day. And I hope that you don't ever forget it as well.